Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Camppatton Family Compound. It is time for Friday night on the Homestead, and tonight's topic is your garden ready for a drought? How's everybody doing out there? All righty, let's go over here and say hi to everyone. And so Crew 1351 was the first one in, followed by Geeky Gardens, then Howie at Food Forest Permaculture, and then Campus Creek Homestead and more. And let's see, okay, that's all that's making comments. We got a few lurkers out there. So hello, lurkers. All righty. I know this is for some of you, you're saying, drought, what are you talking about? We're getting too much rain right now. I know that Daniel over at Arms Family Homestead there in Oklahoma, he said he put out a video saying that he got a couple days ago, they got about 3 to 4 inches of rain. And then the last 24 hours, they got 4 inches of rain. And their driveway into their place goes down across a cement little bridge type thing that the water flows over it about that much year round. And it's just rushing over it. And then it turns and shows the other part of the creek. And it is just insane. So, hey, it may be raining there now, but in a month you could get nothing. So, so this is one of the things that just to consider. Remember that weather patterns can change. Weather patterns can change, and you could be having nice weather right now with just a perfect amount of rain and stuff, and all of a sudden it stops. All right, let's see. I didn't put any additional pictures in there, but I want to talk to you. Talk to you about things you can do. Having come out of California, with the ridiculousness of the left-wing idiots that every time they're in the governor's seat, oh, we're having a drought. We're going to restrict water usage. Water companies, you can charge your people for going over a set limit, and we'll get with you guys and tell you what's going on, what the limit's going to be here. Okay, so yeah, there's things to go, and then of course if you start getting winds with a drought, oh man, you can have a real fire problem there. Yep. All right. Let me get this down out of the way over here. Come on. There we go. And so back in the late 70s, early 80s, we used a lot of stuff from a company called Drip Mist. And so we just turn on the water, set the kitchen timer for 10, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, go out and turn the water off again. But it had hoses going out there. We had all these little different type of emitters. Some of them would just drip either 1, 2, or 3 gallons. It seems strange that it would say 3 per hour, but to me, it seemed like that was a lot less water coming out than what they were advertising. Then they had the spray heads, this little itty bitty spray heads that would spray the same thing, 1, 2, or 3 gallons. And my mom wanted it on all her pots and stuff. So my brother and I, we went, laid out a boatload of stuff out and got all her pots and stuff all set up with either a sprayer or a dripper on it, or sometimes both. And then in the raised planter beds, we did the same thing over there. And Diana just came in, and we used that probably for just thinking, okay, So Chris and I got married in 88, and we were starting to use it in the late 70s. So at least 10 years there, and then used it over there for another 3 or 4 years. And then she decided to move down with my sister down in LA. So we went over there and we cleaned out all of the drip system and took it over to our house in California. I mean, in Martinez up there in California, obviously. But and so my wife is still using some of that stuff there. I have a bunch of it here that when I get a chance, I'm going to be installing it on the raised planter beds by the orchard. But for now, we're using some soaker hoses, and she was using soaker hoses too, because those came out. The original soaker hoses that came out had just there's a long hose that had like a little angled hole in it, so it kind of shot out along the edge of it, with a little stream of water, and not like the new ones are, where it just weeps water all over the place on it. If it's working right. But yeah, we and it seemed like every year or every other year, when both Governor Browns, Daddy and little whiny boy Moonbeam, would get into the governor's office. They were constantly, "Oh, we're using too much water. We need to cut back." Northern California using way too much water. Yet we were sending 3/4 of our water south to LA. And down in LA, they were in the 70s and 80s, their golf courses were luscious green and everything else, and the golf courses in Northern California had dry patches on it. The only thing they were able to keep watered was the green at the hole and the green at the tee spot, and about halfway down they keep a little green patch because that's where everybody landed. But so in Northern California, we really suffered for Southern California. But lately up here in Idaho, what I've been using, and I started using a couple of them there in California before I retired, some product from Orbits. Let me get the right one up here first. There we go. Okay. So there's one on the right here is a 4-station watering meter, valve, whatever, valve system. Now, so you got 4 stations. Each station, you can set it to go off at 3 times a day. And so you would set the start time for number 1, and it would water station number 1, station number 2, station number 3, station number 4 in order, one right after the other. And you can set each station to have a specific time. 20 minutes for number 1, 5 minutes for number 2, 16 minutes for number 3, an hour for number 4. And then you have the start time for number 1. You could set 3 different start times or just 1 start time. I love these things. But and then everything would just follow along in sequence. And then when you figure out your number of time that you're watering off of this unit, and you can have another unit in the backyard and have it pick up 5 minutes after the one in the front yard stops, and it can start watering the backyard. I love these things, and they're great. We did have, prior to using those, we had some of the old dial. Let's see, they got some of the old dial timers here. The old landscape type ones, and we had actual landscape valves set up on the back deck for my mom. And we have, we have 4 in the front, 5 valves in the front yard and 4 valves in the backyard that we were using. And you just, after 20 some odd years, the timers go out, and Chris didn't like working with it and resetting it. So we went to the these type here, and let me go to the other one here, and either with just the 2s, and then there are the single ones somewhere on here. Yeah, there's a single one. Problem is, the single one you can only water once a day. The this one here is just like the 4. It'll water 3 times a day for each station, or you can do it twice a day or just once a day. You have that option to go in there and do it. And Glenn's in here, and yeah, and so it's real easy to set on the dial here. I'm not sure if I can let me see if I can make this bigger here for you guys so you can see it. We're going to put that over there, not in Facebook. We're going to put it over here in, where's garden stuff. There we go. I'm going to do it. It's doing it weird. Oh yeah. Michael Slop is now banning AVIF files, so I can't make it big. Let's see if I just do it this way. I can do it. There we go. Come on, get up there. So you have off autos where you set up, and you set the clock wheel easy. You set your start time, and you set how long for each station, how often for them to go off. And you can always, down in the bottom it says manual clear, so you can clear any of the times. You hit clear and start. The manual, you push it for a second, let go of it, and all will pop up in the window here, and you can just let it go, and it'll water on its preset time, but just right then when you're doing it. Or you can you click on station, and then you can put, I only want to run it for 3 minutes for station 1 and 5 minutes for station 2. And you put those times in, and it'll do that manually. It won't do it all the time. You have to change your actual times. But yeah, it works really. It's simple. It's easy, and I love these things. I also have a bunch of these hand twist timer ones where I have a couple. I have right now I got a big huge compost in the driveway, and I got a little sprinkler sitting on it, and when it starts to dry out as I'm putting it into the different raised planter beds and stuff, if it's starting to dry out, I'll just go over to the twist timer, turn it on for 15 minutes or 30 minutes, and let the little sprinkler keep everything wet there on it. I also have a couple of articulating articulating, oscillating, whatever you want to call them, sprinklers in the backyard that I don't want to run every day. And I'll just, even when I need to add that area to be watered, I'll just go over and turn it on for 10, 15, 20, anywhere from 1 minute to 60 minutes. And it does have a manual where you can just turn it to manual, and it'll stay on until you turn it off. A good drip system at low pressure, that is tough, but there's a way around it. Hang on, let me get some water here. Talking about water made me thirsty. Plus that, I got the picture of dried ground behind me and around everything here. What I'm doing right now, I got 3 totes set up. I got 2 more I'm going to add to the system here that that collect the water off the roof. Because we do not have an AC unit for this house, you know, it's one of those things that's okay. So I got some, I'll show you the pictures of the sprinklers and stuff here in a little bit. But I got several sprinklers set up on the roof coming down, and I got it hooked up to one of the those timers. And so when it starts getting warming up the roof, it comes on one half the roof, then the other half the roof, and back and forth, you know, to keep it cool. And all that water I recollect, and then I have a pump, and I got another set of sprinklers up there that I pump up to those. Those water it too. So I recycle the water several times to help keep the house cool. But what you can do is, if you get, I have one coming here. Let me see if I can find it here real quick here. Pull it up here for you and run and move it across there for you to see. Come on, computer, work. Let's go. There it goes. All right, so move this over here. I have one of these coming. I bought it on the Prime Day stuff. The price was $35.99, and it's 12 volt. Well, got a couple of solar panels, and I got 4 50 amp hour batteries here. I'm just going to hook it all up, and so I'm not using the pump I'm using now to pump the water up onto it, which is a 110 volt, which adds to my electric bill. So as soon as I get this set up, then it'll just run this, and I will do this to put the sprinklers up on it, and I will also wind up using this to power watering elsewhere when I get enough totes that I can store up water and fill them from the irrigation ditch. So with this and a couple solar panels, a couple of lithium iron phosphate batteries, I can set up a watering system that's either drip or with a single little shrub head waterers or little small sprinklers and stuff. And so long as there's water in the tote, it'll water everything. There is also something you can get besides something like this to power a drip system off of from the feet from the totes, and that is a let's see if I can bring it up here. Float switch. SWITCH. Ooh. Let's see what the 12 volt one looks like. Yeah, 12. They look the same. They got this one on the left here plugs in. The one on the right, you can wire it, so you use it with 12 volt, and so you can set it up so that so long as this is floating in the tank, it'll run. The pump can run on its time settings or whatever. But once the tank runs dry, this will stop it so you don't burn up the pump. And let's see. Yeah, here's another one that has three wires in it, so you can actually set it so that when the float hits the bottom, it turns off, and when it fills up to the top, it can turn back on again. So once it gets water in there, then it'll turn on and then it'll turn off when the water gets to the bottom. And you can also use it for a valve control to refill it if you need to refill it at night or whatever. But yeah. Yeah. And little preppers there. Yeah, swales and catchments help retain water too. But yeah, there are a lot of things. Let me go ahead and just drop that down that you can do to help do your watering system. Now, these valves and stuff run off of 2 AA batteries, and 2 AA batteries will run it just about 9 months. Of course, usually I wind up turning it off, and when I take them down for before the first freeze comes, I'll disconnect everything, take these valves out, turn it to the off position, shake so I get all the water out of it, put it in a tote, and put it out in the shop. And then I'll use it the next year. And I've used some of these 3 years before I've had to change batteries on them, at least with the Orbits. I did use, let's see here if I find it over here. No, it wasn't that one. That was another 4 one I got because because this version of Orbits isn't being made anymore. They've gone to hit the wrong button. Don't want that. That's a sponsored one. I hate it when they have put sponsored ones down here and amongst it, so it takes you someplace you don't want to go. And that's the same. That's a sponsored one as well. Home Depot on it. I just want the, anyways, sponsored. Yeah. Anyways, I picked up another one I got off of Amazon, and it said, you can set 4 individual time circuits on it. You can set them all. Well, when I did it, it was you have to set each hose to its own start time. You can't have it set a start time and have it go water 1, then 2, then 3, then 4 automatically. Only Orbits that I've found so far does that. But I can only go through it once a day, and it's like a piece of crap for the price they charge. But there are some other options where you actually use the timer system, and you actually use the remote but wired valves out there to turn stuff on. My wife still uses 2 circuits like that, the remote ones. The timer. She uses 2 of them still, because I put sprinklers in the front yard before she had me tear out the lawn and put the garden in for her. But we left the irrigation sprinklers there, and so she just unscrewed the head, unscrewed the little short riser on it, and put a longer riser on it, and then put the head back on 3 feet up. So then that way it kind of rained on everything where she needed a lot of water. Yeah, that depends. Some areas they don't count nighttime. They count the number of gallons you use during the month, and that's what some places they just go on the number of gallons. They don't care if you do it daytime or nighttime. It's number of gallons, and they jack you up. You have this rate you're at. You go over so many gallons. Now you're up here. You go over so many more. Now you're all the way up there, and then it goes up to the roof. They're insane the way they do some of them. Watering system. Yeah. Yeah. And that's one of the things, like with all my raised IBC totes, I don't have a picture to pull here easy accessible for my garden. So once I have raised planter beds I have along the wall, the wall outside my window here, and then up along the driveway, I got them so I got a soaker hose running through them, and it comes on for 3 minutes for the one and 5 minutes for the other, because it's got more totes, and because the hose is longer, it doesn't shoot out as fast or as much volume in the short space, because it spreads it out. And so I run that one 5 and 3 minutes twice a day. And the plants that are in there are loving it. And my next step on this, I've talked to the wife, I want to add a 6 foot wide skirt to the driveway into the front yard, take the totes out there and turn them sideways so all the bottom valves on the totes are facing one direction, and then plumb them all together into a not a bucket, but like a 30-gallon barrel. So it plumbs into that, and then have a sump pump in there that when it gets so much full, then it just pumps that water back up into all those planters, and then it's got to soak through and filter through, and that way I don't have to use as much watering to water it. I can just see any excess water goes back to be used again. One of the things we've done for and I've got some out here. I got to get a picture. I got videos. I just haven't had time to load them up with the grandkids around here. I got several. Oh, geez. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11. I got 11 big pots, and I got saucers under each of them. I got one smaller pot, about what is that? About a 3-gallon pot with a saucer, and it's sitting in one of the planter beds out front with the citronella in it, because I'll bring that back in the wintertime, because it'll freeze and die here. And the saucers are great because they tell me if I'm watering too much or not, and if I do water a little too much, that sucks the water back up into it as it starts to dry out, which is really cool. But yeah, so I'll go and water it a little bit, come back a couple minutes later and water it with the garden hose again, go do something else, come back. Okay, this one has water coming out the bottom. These two don't, give them just a little more water, and that way I'm giving them just enough water to keep the soil moist and cool, and not just letting the water run down into the soil and not realizing I'm, putting 5 gallons extra water in one of these pots, and it's just going right through and out the bottom, washing all the nutrients out of the pot. When I was talking about using my pump out there to pump water up onto the roof, I have 2 ways to timing that. One is, let me see if I can bring it up back up here. Okay. I have timers, and let me orders here. Let's see if it brings it up here for me. There it is. Oh, and this is even cheaper than what I paid for it. Yeah. So these things here, I set it to go for half-hour increments. And so basically, when I can set it so it'll water the roof, it'll spray pump extra water up on the roof for an hour in between the cycles of the other valves, and it collects the water from both back down to the tanks I just reusing the water using this to turn the pump on and off. I plan to set it up with a stage pump system where I'm not having to use this, that I will have set up to go around the yard here. Once I get, a dozen of the IBC totes that I can fill out of the irrigation ditch, I can fill those up, and I can just have that, pump on, and then all the orbit valves and stuff will come on in different spots, and it will just water from the water I pull out of the irrigation ditch. And that's my plan. Hopefully next year I should get that in place, because they're going to start charging us. They're making us, the city, put water meters on everybody's house to track water, and they want us to start the city to charge by the amount of water people use. So like if you have one person living alone by themselves, their water usage is going to be way down, so their water bill will be way down. You have somebody that goes out and leaves on 3 big sprinklers watering a half an acre of lawn, their water bill is going to be a little bit more. So that's one of the things we're getting ready for here, is to pump water from the irrigation ditch, fill up a bunch of totes during our time for pulling water from the ditch, and then water the yard with the see if I can pull this, put that back over there. Yeah, and that will be watering the yard with one of these pumps that run off of solar power. So it'll be able to control things a little bit better and keep our water bill down low. But the city has said that before they start setting up how many gallons a house can use, they need to also find out how many people are living there, and say, oh, one person, okay, this is your thing here, and this is what you get. You go over it, you pay more. If you got 4 people, they'll set your baseline up a little bit higher. That's what they do in some states and stuff, like California. They set it by, they would like to say, all right, how many people you got living there? Well, you only has 1 person living there. No, there is 6 people living here. You can come by anytime and introduce yourself. And so they set they set baselines by how many people are in there. So people with a large families not getting screwed over by giving the baseline of a single or 2-person household. And Shady Hill Homestead's here. Excuse me a second. I got grandkids running in and out, in and out. All right. Let's see. Yeah. So, in some places, soaker hose works really good. What I did out here in front, we had this. My wife and I ran the soaker hose from the one end, goes down around, goes back up to it, and we got a garden hose splitter. Garden hose splitter. So the one, it comes off the one, goes down around, comes back, and we got to use a female to female swivel to be able to connect it back to here, and that way it gets full pressure all the way around it. And we only got to turn on for just a little bit of time to make sure we don't have any dry spots. Well, when we first put it in, we just put some wood chips on top, and over the winter stuff, those have broke down, and then I got another load, and the whole thing settled a little bit. So I got it when I got another load of compost, I just filled it up over the soaker hose, and some of the peppers I planted in there near the hose, oh, those look really good. They're starting to grow good and everything else. The carrots loved it. The garlic loved it. Actually, still love it. They're still in there growing. The lemon balm loved it last year and this year. This year, some of the ones that came back and were growing up again, we got a late freeze and it killed it off. And they didn't come back, so I'm gonna have to reseed it. I'm not worried about reseeding it this year. I know the seeds I have are good, so I'll probably reseed it all next year and get more lemon balm in there. The spearmint love the soaker hose as well, because it's laid right up against them, and they've been spreading out from it and keeping the other weeds out of growing near the soaker hose. So that's good there. I'm not sure what type of lilies and bulbs my wife brought up. They love the soaker hose as well, and because it's it keeps it there, especially when it's slightly buried between two rows of them. All that water is down underneath, and so it just does it. Yeah, that's when my wife has having that problem too. And up here, as high as we are, we get more UV, and so that's why we covered it with wood chips last year. And then as the whole planter settled down in a couple inches, I put a couple inches of the compost on top of it, because the wood chip's starting to break down, and we'll just keep a couple inches of compost above the soaker hose so it lasts longer. And when it goes from one container, one tote, to another one where it comes out into daylight, I cut pieces of 3/4 inch garden hose, slide it on it before I put the final end piece on. So I start at the one end and start going through it. As it jumps from one container to another, it's got a piece of garden hose on it, so the water goes in, that would be spraying out that on that jumper, goes down into the back down into the each tote it's coming from and going to. And so I got, all you can tell I've got soaker hoses, these little pieces of garden hose going up from one tote to the next tote. And it protects it. It protects it from the UV, and it keeps it from spraying water where I don't want it to spray water. One of the things I did for my wife in California, I actually laid out PVC pipe with threaded tees on it and a 1/2 inch riser on it. And some of the stuff we got back when for my mom's place has like a head on it that you unscrew. It's got all these different. You can put how many gallons per hour you want going through it. Get a little different colored restrictors in there, and you have just your 1/4 inch hose just going out. You don't have to have an emitter on the end, because it's dripping at, whether it's a 1/2 gallon, a gallon, 2 gallons, or 3 gallons an hour. And you just run that over, and you stick it next to whatever plant you need to water. And she loves that it runs like that. And it's small enough that the earwigs don't try to crawl up in it. And if she ever has a problem with that, we have a bunch of they're like little stakes, and it's like a little cap that's with a divider. The tube goes in it, but the water comes out around it, and it's too small for anything to crawl in it and make the turn at the bottom to get back up into the tube. So there are lots of options out there. The newer stuff I've seen, looking around that, it's like, damn, this stuff's cheap and crappy. And that's why we've been cleaning out our old spray heads and drip emitters. Easy to clean. You get yourself some. I know Home Depot sells to the 30% vinegar. You don't have to use it at that strength, but you can dilute it down and just put all those plastic emitters in there and just let it soak for a couple days. It'll dissolve all the calcium and everything off of it, and then you go to hook it back up again, and just all that stuff's gone, and it just works like it's brand new. All right. Oh, what else is there for the stuff here? There's just so much stuff. Oh, so when I fill up my IBC totes, I mentioned in the videos before, but when I'm actually doing it, but what I do is, so I got an IBC tote, I cut the top out, leave it where I'm leaving it where it curls up a little bit, and because it keeps stuff from blowing out. But in the bottom, what I'll do is I'll take milk jugs and flatten them and then twist the top real tight and cover the entire bottom of a layer of crinkled milk cartons. And then I'll lay over that some weed blocker material I get from Sam's Club, the Members Mark stuff, because it actually acts as a filter fabric and the water goes right through it. So I'll lay that in there and then I'll start putting my soil in there and start layering the stuff as I build it up. That way, maybe the water doesn't get trapped and sour the roots and stuff, and it can drain out. But I can also connect onto the cam lock valve coming out of the IBC totes, and I can hook them together and capture water. So that's going to be the next big step in water control here in the either next summer or the following summer to get everything. I got to turn all the totes sideways on the out by the orchard, so all the valves are exposed. Yeah, it means I got to reach over farther because the totes are 48 by 43 inches. And so I was reaching across the 43-inch side from one to the other. Well, I'll make it a little bit wider, but Chris said that she can reach across just fine from either side and it'll work. So we're going to get those all changed out. And with the here we have such a high pH, like we're up in the 9.5 to 10 on soil pH around here because of all the volcanic basalt in the soil that we've been, as we put soil and compost in there, I've been spraying it down with some vinegar to watch it fizzle and stuff, and as it comes to a more a neutral pH of 7 in the raised planter bed, so stuff grows a little bit better. And right now in the front yard, I got in where one of the sprinklers for the front yard is going to, I have a half 55-gallon barrel with boysenberries growing in it, and they like a 5.5 to 6.5 pH. And so I treated the soil first, and then I'm adding whole percolated coffee beans, and then I'm grinding up some of the beans, so I mix that in so I get a quicker balance on the soil, get it down into the right pH for the boysenberries. And once I have that set up, figured out for that 155-gallon barrel, we're going to do a couple of the IBC totes for boysenberries for the grandkids and my wife. I'm not much of a boysenberry person, but there are some good things you can find out there that work for controlling your water and stuff. One of the things Daniel Arms showed several years ago in Arms Family Homestead is where he took a big pot. I think he wound up using a bunch of the I forget what it's called. It's the tubs they use for horses with the molasses and stuff in it, and the horses eat it, and the cows sometimes come eat it and stuff. And once they're done and empty, farmers get rid of them. Well, he's collecting them, he was putting short pieces of PVC pipe, like 2-inch PVC pipe, in the bottom, so there was a gap there, and covered it with some fabric and stuff, and put it on the pipe coming up the side to the top, where he could, look down and see where the water was at, or put a stick in and see, oh, there's only ½ inch of water. I need to put another 2 inches of water in here. And that way he waters on some of his garden pots. They water from the bottom up. So you just have to search Arms Family Homestead for their garden section on the those type of self-watering pots. Shoot, let's see. We've covered using drip mist systems or drip soakers and stuff off the house. Talked about it using different type pumps from storing water and using collecting rainwater and using that to drip out there. If you get a fairly enough rainfall that if you were to collect all the water off the house, that even if you didn't rain for a month, you'd have enough water to make it through the month. Great. You can always use a 12-volt pump and a solar panel to water with a garden hose. I've tried over the years a lot of, see if I can find the right one here. Hang on, I'm trying to find something here for you. Where is it? There we go. Try to get in here. Different watering nozzles and stuff. Watering nozzle one. Let's see what comes up here. Come on. Let's see what they have here. Okay, here, perfect. All right. I love these things. These are from Melnor. I'm sure if it's so let me just take this and see if I can. Okay, so I'll just go into it that way there. So you got 8 different settings on it: full, flat, centered, fan, cone, center, jet, sprinkle. But yeah, I got some that are just the short ones, and then does it show the patterns down here? Come on, get up here. There you go. So there's your patterns and stuff that has on it. I usually around here I use full, jet, shower, and mist. Grandkids love the mist, especially to wash their hands off with. But yeah, and then your thumb control on it here. There is it's a great thumb control for closed to full open, and anywhere in between, just slide it back and forth, and it works great. Even Danny is learning to control it for watering the plants around here. So it's once you figure it out, it works great. But I love this, and I love also, let's go back, and some of them where I don't want to bend over, I use the long reach wand. Same hand control grip here. Same nozzle on the front, except it also click, at which angle from your wand. So you can aim it straight as the wand, or you use it at a 90-degree angle, so like you're reaching over up to pots or whatever, high hanging up, so you can water them. This is one of the yeah. So I probably have I got, because when Chris and I were wandering out there, both trying to water, we had enough garden hoses out, before I started getting more automated stuff on there. So we probably have 4 of these and 5 of the others. Because I also have yard hydrants all over the property, and I got a 150-foot hose on each one, and I got the short one on each one of those as well, just in case someone sets off fireworks here and come up next week. I can go and put out anything burning on the property really quick. Yeah, they don't work too well at low pressure. However, on full and jet, they're not too bad on low pressure, because you're giving basically it's a free flow for the that size nozzle. But the other stuff, the mist, no, it don't work on low pressure. The center doesn't work on low pressure, and the fan doesn't work on low pressure. Soaker, full, and jet have enough opening for it to flow where it does work somewhat. But yeah, but if you're able to put up a little pump and run it, it'll work on that too. Now that pump I've been showing, where is it here? We bring it back up here. This one here, I also have one of these that's 115 volt, which it's actually 120 volt, but it says on it 115 volt. And yeah, because if you have hooked the garden hose with that watering wand on it, you turn it on, it'll sit there, and you can water it, turn it on here, turn it on there, turn it on there, turn it on there, walk back and turn off the pump. So, and actually, let me pull this down for a second. Show you something else here real quick here. I got to go to all departments to bring it up right. 1-inch HP transfer pump. There we go. So here, there it is. There's the, this one says 120 on it. This one says 115. That says 110 volt on it. But yeah, same company that made that, the 12 volt makes the 120 volt version, and that's 330 gallons per hour. You don't want to use that much, but you can use it, and right now it's $40, prime deal, and it comes with extra brushes, gasket, and an extra set of impellers. Also has the suck up thing for getting trying to dry a basement out. Suck all the water out of a basement in a short hose. All right. I hope I gave you some good ideas, or gave you some ideas to go look at, and maybe come up with your own ideas from some of the stuff you can find. And we can take it back here. Bring this back up for a second. That's the type pump there. This one on the end here that that's what I use out there right now to pump the water up onto the roof. Hope I gave you ideas to work to keep your garden from drying up and blowing away, and to keep you from getting a big watering bill. The other thing I'm going to touch on now at the end here is gray water. And I did a video on it of the different levels of gray water. Bathroom sink water is probably the cleanest gray water out there. And then you got kitchen, unless you have a garbage disposal, that changes your gray consistency there. Laundry water, if you use bleach or not, can be used in the garden as well. Shower water, you can use that in the garden as well. Just got to do it. plumbing fittings and plummet and diverter valve put in, and you can do it. Let me give you something here real quick here. For those that don't know it, let's see. All right, here we got some here. So these are three-way valves here. And this is 1.5 inch, 2 inch, 1.5 inch. You can set them up so that the way it goes, the thing goes around inside. You can have, say your feet is, say the feet is from the left side. You can have it go straight through, or you can divert it to the T. You can also turn the valve where it blocks off and shuts off any water coming from the left while you're working downstream on it. So you have your water coming from your shower coming in the one, and you have it go out during the winter time when you don't want to be flooding your garden. And then when you need the water, you turn it so it comes out the T side of it here towards the bottom, and then you're using the water in your garden or on your lawn. So yeah, so this is inch and a half, $15. This, different companies, different ones. The 2-inch one here, you can, some of these 2-inch ones are set up so you put Schedule 40 PVC pipe on the inside. You can put 1.5 inch on the inside or 2-inch over the outside. So they actually do cover both 2.5 and 2-inch and 1.5 inch. So last little thing there for you on other ways to say to recycle water and use it out in the garden. All right, folks, that's going to be it for right now. It's time I got to send the grandkids over. Their dad wants to do a little briquette fire thing out there and roast marshmallows for them. So, but coming up here, let me get this up right. There we go. Tomorrow night on Gray Man Prepping for Survival Saturday is after they force cryptocurrency on you, what are your plans? Monday back here on Camppatton Family Compound, best ways to store your harvest part 2. And we'll be giving out, I will be giving out a link there on Monday to a very good Facebook reel. It's about 20 minutes long that you can watch on your own time and save it and we go back to it easily. On ways to store food and stuff, the way my grandparents did and great-grandparents did. Tuesday, for Tactical Tuesday, family members who refuse to see the truth. All right. And we'll be covering that. Thursday night's the Midnight Ride. And next Friday here is wildfires. Do you have a plan to cope with one? All right, folks. And if you want to know what a wildfire can do to a homestead or a farmstead, Wendy at Hardknack Farms 2 years ago, was it 2 years ago or 3 years ago, fire came through and wiped most of the property out. Then they were able to protect the house and the barn, but a lot of the other stuff went. And so they're still recovering from that. She's talking about it. She had a video out yesterday, talking about it, how she's gone to all raised planter beds to be able to keep the garden going so that it's not, fires can't come through it. Anyways, that's what's coming up, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow for Survival Saturday. Take care and work on your garden.